trying to go live myself.
Huh?
Trying to go live. I am.
So this is.
Oh, nice. Whoa, audio though. Turn it down for me, just so I don't get copyright.
But you know that song, right?
Yeah. Oh, how are you gonna get them to do that?
Well, I don't know about the kick part because it's like to the right. I can easily do that part.
Because you can rotate the camera. Or,
well, no, not even that. I just go back and forth with muffins and have a big crowd of them following.
Yeah.
The kicking part I haven't figured out.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Get them excited.
I didn't wear a cup today.
I think, and it's hot. They don't want to jump around.
Oh, no, they were doing it earlier. I got a little bit.
Good afternoon, guys.
Joelle, like, on me and walking one direction. So I think I got enough of a clip that I can use both sides. Sophia was over here and she was, like, wanting to get involved.
Yeah.
And it was scaring off some of the goats.
Huh. All right. So I went live because I need to work in the wood shop. Wood shop being my, AKA my garage. Now I want to get my microphone because I'm going to have some tools running. We're going to have some tools running. I got to make bows. I got more time left for a refresh in a second or two. It's hot today. It's hot today. Good afternoon. Yeah, I'm going to try to make more bows. Probably going to go with the production method. Hello, Henny. Probably going to work production. So this is just going to be a boring live with me operating equipment, cutting up pieces of wood, you know. It's a hot one today, and the garage is going to be working. It does not have air conditioning. Andy's going to be working on a reel. So there's your animals. That's what you get now. That's what you get. Animals. That was it. We're done with that. Let's go. And when I get in here and put you on the tripod, let me know if I got a refresh. I gotta get back in the groove here. Whew. Hot potato. Hot potato. Okay. Oh, wait, hold on. I can't charge my phone and put the audio in there. Dang it. I have to have one or the other. Charging or audio. And I guess we'll go with charging, because that's probably more important. Well, it doesn't seem like it wants to charge. Power 11%. Come on. All right, there it goes. All right. If my phone charges more, we'll use the earpiece. Not working the reel yet. About 30 minutes or so is just checking. All right. I'm going to set you guys off to the side right here. You can watch. This is just going to be me cutting wood, guys. I got a new blade. I'm going to be cutting wood. You want me to make you a spanky stick? Holla! Holla! All right. First thing I'm going to do is set my table saw to a width of 1.5 inches. We're going to cut ourselves some bows up at 1.5. I got a Diablo blade, which is more proficient. It's called a thin kerf. I got a thin kerf blade. This is going to be noisy, guys. I'm sorry. It's going to be noisy. I didn't want to do it noisy. I wanted to put my microphone on, but it seems to me that it's more important that we can watch. So if you guys... Oh, Sarah Young sent 2. I've only got 3 more to make, but I'm going to do production on some of these. So pretty much. I did have an issue last time. Do you remember me talking about it? The edge of the board had those banding straps that messed me up. I'm actually not going to cut 1.5 inches off. Right now, I'm just going to take a sliver off the side. And the reason for that is to clear up the edge of the board and make sure none of those banding straps are in the way. Any marks from the edge of the board. What that did was took off some of the problems that I had on the edges of the board. There's these banding straps, and it looks like I still have more of them on there. I can't have that in there because then I have to sand it away, which makes it a problem for me. So I'm going to actually take even more off, but let me make sure I'm still going to have enough room for a couple of bows. 1.5 is 3. Yeah, I can take off more. I'm going to clean it up. This is where a joiner normally comes in handy, but I don't have myself a jointer. This is what a joiner would do. I'm using the belt sander as a catching area for the wood. See, I was cutting away all that crap right there. All that junk. Watch how flexible this is just as is. Look at this. Kiln dried hickory. You can't do this with any other wood. Look how flexible that is. Pine would have snapped. You could probably do it with maple, but it would be brittle and I would be scared. Definitely can't do it with oak. It's just a very... Even if I wanted to break this... You see how interlocking that grain is? It's such an interlocking wood. Look at that. It doesn't just snap. That's why we like hickory. That's why we like sapwood hickory. Alright, now that I cleaned up the edge, I can definitely cut my 1.5-inch bow blanks. We're going to call these bow staves. Bow staves. And set the blade to slightly over, like maybe a 32nd over 1.5. And we should be able to get three bows out of this based on my math. I should be able to get 3. Let's see. that's 3. Now here's the problem. A couple of problems here. We want to only use the sapwood. And you can see that's all white. That's all sapwood. That's good. But take a look at this one here. This has what they call sapwood and heartwood. There's a clear difference between the two. So if I want to use this one, I'm going to be... Now, heartwood can work. It definitely can work. It's just a little less durable when it comes to flexing and stretching and compression strength. The sapwood holds everything together. So I'm going to make this the back of the bow, facing away from the archer. I'm going to take the sapwood and put it on the back side. I'm going to allow the heartwood on the inside. Now the good news is I already made my heavyweight bow. Already made the bow, the one bow that is approximately 50 pounds in draw weight. This one is stout. So I got one heavy bow. Now I've only got to make a taller version of this, but in a lighter draw weight and easier pull for anybody who's not quite as strong. And then I have to make 2 junior bows, which will be shorter and skinnier. So that being said, less stress, less compression on the heartwood is better. So if you have to, or you're forced to use the heartwood, put that in a lower weight category. That will work just fine. So now what I'm doing is I'm picking which side is the back of the bow for each one of these things. And grain orientation is pretty important as well. First off, here's those band strips I was telling you about. We're going to put those on the belly side facing the archer, because this is sapwood through and through, even though it came from the same board. So that'll get cut away. And this one is a mixture of heart and sap as well. One side is all sap. The other side is partial sap, partial heartwood. So again, I'm going to put the sapwood on the outside. These 3 are already set to go. Now, I have more wood, so just in case I have failures, I'm working in production. This is already set up. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the same thing on another piece of wood. Get all my blanks ready. Remember, I only spent $75 on all this wood. I already got one bow. This is good. I'm looking at this one here. Any of my defects are already on the belly side. There's nothing that's even creeping close to the back of the bow. So I don't need to cut a shim. I can just cut straight through. And based on my math here, we're going to get 3, 6. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to get about 5 bows out of this. Maybe even 6 if I play my cards right. I can probably make 5 longbows out of this. Well, 5 longbows and probably 1 junior bow with the scrap piece on the end. I'm gonna save. I'm overkilling it. I'm sweating like I don't even know what I'm sweating like. I'm going to not overkill it. I don't need to make more work for myself. I'm pretty confident that I won't have this many failures. So I'm going to select the back of the bow. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 bows that I can work from in the adult versions. Here's an issue. We have heartwood on the bottom and we have sapwood on the top. Well, if I were to put that on this side of the bow out here and we flex it, look what we have. We have a knot. We have a defect right in the middle. That defect's right in the middle. And we have another one right here. Now this is supposed to be selecting better, but you can't get rid of knots completely. Now if we look at this side, one limb, I don't know how visible this is, one limb would be all sapwood, one limb would have some heartwood in it. I don't like that. I'm going to attempt to keep the defects. I'm going to keep the knots because knots aren't the end of the world. As long as I tiller properly, I might be able to get away with making this a functional bow. So I'm keeping the knot on that side. This one's just going to be marked up as a warning. May end up a little bit lighter in draw weights. And I'm going to cut my staves for my junior bows. Those are next. My junior bows are next. And those are going to be skinnier and they're going to be cut quarter sawn. Quarter saw meaning off the edge of the bow, the edge of the wood. So instead of me cutting the whip this way, the kids will be shooting the bow this way. The wood is going to bend this way. So it's a little bit different. And the length obviously has to be shorter. So that's actually the next step. I can't have this 6-foot longbow for a little kid. So I'm looking for about a 5-foot longbow, which I'm right now I'm at 68 inches. So that's 5'8". But I technically really just need 60 inches, maybe even 61 is a little safety measure to make it a little bit longer. Got to cut that to length first, then I'll just cut all of these skinny, right down the side. Now when I was doing this for a living, I had chop saws set up. I had a professional table with I had a professional table saw with an outfeed table. There's a lot more involved. My table saws were multiple horsepower, so they cut even faster than what I just did. Now it's all back to like caveman style. So this is some heavy stuff. I mean, this is really, really heavy. I don't think that there's any other wood I could take and just... That normally would split if it were a piece of pine. This is such good stuff. That was just demonstrating the durability of the hickory. Right? Now you know. This is why they made bats out of hickory. Hardwood floors, hickory floors, very durable. Very durable. Alright, let's cut our 1-inch strips. They're only going to be 1 inch wide. Maybe slightly more. This will beef up the handle. And I should get all the junior bows I need from this one piece of wood, which is still going to leave me with enough pieces to make probably 5 or 6 more bows after this. Not that I'm going to get into the bow making business, but you know. Alright. Hair over 1 inch. Safety protection. We ran into a little bit of a snafu here. It's a good looking piece of wood until that knot right there, which makes a big problem, right? So those three can be that size bow. All you got to do to fix this is cut it off. Now we're going to have some really junior bows. So if I get these little tykes over here that are only this tall, this will be the perfect size bow for them. I try to use bows that are the same size as the child or the adult or the person, or somewhat close to that. So yeah. So we have enough for 3 of my standard junior bows. This will be for your little teenagers that come in here, 12 to 15-year-olds. And I'm picking the best grain orientation on these, lining them up. These are all facing the right way. This one here, we'll just cut a couple more up. These will be very lightweights, 15 pounds in resistance, very light, but still able to fling an arrow right down the lane. All right. We'll pick the right side, up and up. Perfecto. Let me check my phone, make sure we're still connected and you guys are seeing what's going on. Can you guys hear me? Is everything good? We all good? Of course, I had to go and touch something. I'm sweaty. Just a little bit, if you couldn't tell. The girth looks good right now on the bigger ones. Keep your ears, buddy. Hi, guys. Yeah, until I touched it, right? We were all good until I touched it. Whew, I'm sweating. Okay, let's go back. Let's go back to working here. Now, this is where things get a little bit more technical. This is where things have to be a little more precise in what's going on. Trying to adjust myself here. Which, what do I do? How do I adjust you guys? Oh, there. Okay. It is Andy's fault. Let's blame it on somebody else. Perfect. This is where things get a little more technical. We know all 3 of these are exactly the same length. So let's turn, I don't know what the length is. I'm going to turn them on their sides. I'm going to get myself some reference marks on all of them. We'll flush them up. All right, so it's like it's one board again. We'll find the center. Oop, I grabbed the wrong one. Looks like what? I only have 2 of them in the shorter length. Okay. 2 of them in the shorter length, 3 in the longer? Yes, that's right. All right, these 2 here, side profile, looking at it from the side. We're going to measure it out. It's 51.5, so that would be 25 and what, 3/4 maybe? This is how you find out. 25 and 3/4 market, turn around, go 25 and 3/4. I was right on the money. It's 25 and 3/4. So this is our center right here. Put the letter C as center. So we know that's the middle of the bow. We need about a 5-inch handle for a junior bow. That's the length. So we'll put 2.5 on the center mark. We'll do this. That's the length of the handle, 5 inches. So these junior bows have a 5-inch handle. So now we're marked up. Now the saw blade, unfortunately, is curved. So as I'm cutting and I see the saw blade coming down this limb, if I were to stop on that line, I would actually cut into my handle. So I have to back it off some. I need to stop before I get to the handle because of the radius of the table saw blade. So on a longbow, I think it's about 4 inches, but what we're going to do here is we'll stop about 2 inches away. This will be my stop mark. I'll just put... Now this was all done with jigs before. I had jigs and stop blocks. I didn't really want to spend the time building a bunch of jigs and stop blocks just because what's the point on such a short amount of bows. Alright, now we need to figure out the approximate thickness. Now, the stop line, here's the fade of the handle. Imagine this. Imagine the fade. Let me make sure this is the back of the bow. It is. Yeah, so we're going to fade the bow that way. This is the handle mark. I'm just eyeballing this right now. It doesn't matter. Right? So, again, jigs and templates make everything so much easier. That's my good reference point right there. So, from this point, we just need to cut a tapered line. This only needs to be thicker. It needs to be thicker at the handle than it is out at the tip. We just need to pick a number. On an adult bow, I remember it's 5/8 at the handle, 3/8 at the tip. I don't think that's the same on a junior bow. Well, I know it's not. So a 5/8 is 1 past 1/2 of an inch, and a 3/8. So that's 2/8. So it's a 1/4 inch difference. So the taper is a 1/4 inch difference. So whatever I pick here, I need to choose a 1/4 inch difference at that end. All right. So I need to have enough room. Obviously, I don't want to taper away to nothing. So let's hypothetically say that it's 1/2 of an inch right here and a 1/4 inch. Once we figure this out, we'll use the same thing on the other bows. We'll go 1/4 inch there. So 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch. That's what we're going to do. We're going to pick that as our reference. And I'm just going to freehand it on the table saw and then use it as a template for the other one. Dang it. Of course, that is not going to work on... That'll only work for the other bow. But at least I know they'll be somewhat identical. Right? So we have a mark and a mark. And we just taper it down. There we go. Skinnier down there, thicker up there. Same thing. Over here, 1/2 inch. 1/2 inches there. 1/4 inches down here. And that'll get us in the ballpark of a junior bow. If not, I can always tiller it down even harder, even further. Okay. Looks good. I'm double checking my measurements here. 1/2 inch. 1/4 inch. Let's cut that out. Let's go for it. Again, freehanded. Freehanded though. This is where I really wish I had a bandsaw, because I got to use this. Now, I just have a thought, and it makes me very nervous. I got a new blade on here. It's only a 7 1/4 inch blade. Woo! I barely reach to 1 1/2 inches. That's the thickness of the bow here. So when I do the taper cut on this one, the blade is actually hardly going to be sticking out. I don't think I can cheat it up any further. Whoo, that's close. That's going to be a close call when I get to these wide bows. Oh well. Anyways, we're going to freehand the fade up like this with the jigsaw like this. It doesn't matter right now how I do this at all. A vise would be nice. Stabilize it. There it is. A nice faded cut. Same thing on this side. Just the opposite direction. If you don't want to cut the same direction, well, you do that. Gets a little choppy without a vise. Now I'm feeling this. I'm feeling the bend in this, guys. We have another slight issue. I'm feeling the bend in this. And this is going to be way too stiff for a little kid. Way too stiff for a little kid. It's too much. Too much. I have to decrease it, but not with the sandpaper, because that would take forever. I'm going to decrease it on the table saw. Just by using my skill with the wood shop, making the same cut I just did on the table saw without any marks. I'm just going to parallel the blade along the edge of the bow here, essentially eliminating another pass. Like, it's going to thin the bow out and it'll be good to go, maybe. Alright, that should be closer. And what we're going to do is just use this as a template on top of this one, so I don't have to make the marks again. And I'll use this same taper on the kid's bow, the other kid's bow as well. If I make one mistake on that table saw and gouge it out, the whole bow is toast. Toast. just won't work. Impossible. You can't make a bow out of something that's been nicked or gored out. Then you might have to laminate. So I'm just going to trace this taper onto here. There it is. It's ready to go. Now, I'm going to use the same limb on this side to trace the taper. This way they're both identical, regardless of what happens. Okay. So now we follow the lines on here, and we should get pretty dang close to the other one. I might make it a little bit lighter on purpose. Instead of cutting on the line or to the left of the line, I'm going to cut to the right of the line, or vice versa. Yeah. Now there are 7 different species of hickory out there. Shagbark, shellbark, pecan, pig nut. I don't know, some of these other ones. I don't remember them all. I used to know all of them, just like I know my goats. But there's 7 different species of hickory out there. And they sell them as one. If you just want hickory, you get hickory. Each one has its own different bending properties as well. So sometimes measurements, even though they're static across the board and it's all sold as hickory, each variety of hickory will actually have a different compression or tension strength. So unfortunately, you can't always use these numbers as a guideline. You have to use it as a well, you can use it as a guideline. Anyway, you know what I'm trying to say. I just screwed up. I started going the wrong direction. I just messed up. I wasn't paying attention, guys. This part was supposed to be the bending limb. This was the side that was supposed to be the bending limb. I just cut into the bending limb. So, can I save it? Yes. Yes, I can save it. You want to know why? I'm now going to revert. Instead of this being the bending limb, this is going to be the bending limb over here. This, you'll see, it's going to be a little complex, but there is a way to save this. All is not ruined yet. I have to recut on the table saw, though. So instead of the curve going that way now, the curve is now going to go the other way. Here, this direction, curved, back up to that line right there, then tapered out, and we should still be able to get a functioning bow out of this. This is because I am talking to you guys and not paying attention to what I'm doing. That is my fault. But luckily I saved it in the nick of time before we went any further. I could have just cut it off, to be honest with you. Barely. Wow. Squeaking that one out. Let's remember which side is the front of the bow and which side is the back of the bow. Okay? Talking to you guys like it's your fault. It's not your fault. That's my fault. All right. Back on the table saw again. Remembering correctly what is what. right, stick with me here. This now is the back of the bow. Because, let me mark it before I even start anything. This is the waste wood. Waste wood. This is the side we don't want. Right here. Alright, trying again. Ta-da! Ta-da-da! There's the cut that would have been in the limb of the bow. There's that accident I made. My boo-boo. Boo-boo. Uh-oh. Alright, I'm going to do a thing called a floor tiller. Same thing I was just doing with the other one. I'm going to bend it. Realize it's too stiff. Again. I don't know why. Maybe because I didn't compensate. I'm not sure. Called a floor tiller. Not sure if you guys could even see me bending the wood. That's called a floor tiller. And that's me slightly tillering the bow, the art of bending the limbs onto the floor before I get the string on, getting it close, removing wood with the table saw, not with the belt sander, because it's more aggressive and faster and better that way. So I'm going back to this one real quick because I know I already noticed a difference. Spent way longer on these two than I wanted to, but those are the profile tapers. We now need to do the other junior bows right here, so let's do them. They are next. Junior bows, same concept. Discover the back of the bow, which I like that as the back, so we'll face it away from me. Feels like there's a bend in this, slight bend in it. Same thing with this one. Find the back of the bow, face it away from me. Okay. And third one, find the back of the bow, face it away from me. Had them already picked out before, Now I messed up. Okay. I knocked the pile over. We're looking at 61. So that would be 30.5 inches is the center. 30.5. Like so. Center. And here's what I'm going to do on this one. I'm going to use these shorter ones as a reference to get me close. We already know this is my center. Let me check the draw weight on this. Yeah, we should be all right. We'll get pretty close with that. Each one of these, I know it doesn't go all the way to the end of the bow limb, but I need to imaginarily draw the line. Or I'll show you what I need to do. Hold on. Do I want to start the taper here? No, I got an idea. I'm going to start it down here. Again, this is out of the box. It's not standard how I would do this. I'm going to just trace that line a little bit of the ways, and maybe you guys can figure out why I'm not going to carry the line all the way up. Obviously, it wouldn't get me to the center, but to the center. Why do I have my glasses on? They're fogging up. One. Why am I only going a little ways? And how am I going to continue that line up? You will see. There is a method to my madness. Same thing at this end. Taper that. Just trying to find a ways to cheat without jigs and templates. I don't think it's cheating, it's just shortcuts. It's being smart. Ultimately, it doesn't matter on the taper until the final moment you pull the bow. So as long as I don't take off too much material, I can't put it back. I can always take more off, I can't put it back. Just gonna use the straight edge. Bada bing. Just put the straight edge on here. Carry that line. All I gotta do is parallel the line there. And it would take me down my imaginary path that would have been there that is now missing. Basically, just hijacked the stave. It's all good. All right, same thing on the other side. Still got to mark the handle location and all that jazz. It's getting hot in here. All right, there are tapered marks on each one. That's nice. That's fun. The junior bow handle, let's go ahead and just put the center on here and just get the fade outs like we wanted it. Mark center with center, like so, and just taper. See what I'm doing here? And then just taper, and just taper. Same on this side. Taper, taper, taper. Perfecto. Perfecto mundo. Three staves ready for cutout. Freehand. Production style, I'm working on each group at a time. Rather than, because they're all the same measurements. Now I'll vary where I place the blade, the table saw blade, when I cut these to get 3 different variations of draw weights. I'll put the blade on this side here on one cut. On another bow, I'll put the blade on that thing, and then in the other cut, I'll put the blade on this side. So there'll give me 3 different variations of draw weights, and I didn't have to make 3 different lines. Very nice, very nice. I'm sealing the bows with a polyurethane. Getting in the groove. In the groove. This is where it gets chattery. Chattery. Cut the right direction this time. And I used to take the little strap cutoffs right here and I would shape them into little swords. These are little swords. Perfect at the Renaissance fairs where the kids would ha 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 ha. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness. first one I'm cutting, I'm using my marks as a guide. The second one, I'm just using muscle memory to repeat the cut because I don't want to get confused. Even looking at the lines, I could get confused. Muscle memory in my mind is way better than a physical line. Alright, let's floor tiller these three. Get them bending evenly and to approximately the right draw weight. Put you guys back on the right view. There we go. Floor tiller meaning, again, bend it on the floor. See how they bend in comparison to each other. This side bends easier than this side, so this side needs a little bit more taken off. Now, even if both sides had exactly the same cuts, measurement-wise, like let's just say I used a jig and everything was precisely where it should be, that doesn't mean they're going to bend the same. Trees grow differently. Top of the tree is less dense than the bottom of the tree. The bottom of the tree is carrying more weight. No, the bottom of the tree is more dense. Alright, these three are good. Moving on to the adult bows. I'd say I only need one more adult bow. I am not going to go through this on 6 bows. It's not a wise choice of my time to go through this on all 6 bows. Don't want to do that. Since I only need one more, just to buffer myself, I'll set aside the ones that I don't want. Remember remember the knot, the defect? That'll work, but not today. Remember the heartwood? That'll work, but not today. Picking the best of the best because these are going to be shot thousands of times. A little bit of heartwood, going to be cut away. Grain looks really nice. I need to pick the best. And I say I'll pick these 3 as my samples. I'll remove these 3. Taking these 3 off the list. Now I have enough for like 9 more bows after this, so we might do some custom orders later on. What do you think? Back of the bow, back of the bow, back of the bow. Turn it sideways. Make our marks. Find center. You know how that works. You've been here. You've been here. Ah, this one has the heartwood. Only on the one side. It'll look pretty. What's up, buddy?
What's up? Lauren wanted to know why you were playing your wood without her.
Well, she's invited to join me.
Also, Rex, Violet, and Kino all go on the bottle all on their own.
What?
Yeah.
But
Kino,
not.
Indy's still a difficulty. He went on, but he didn't drink very much, and he still suckled. So he got the suckle down, but he didn't drink a whole lot.
Okay.
But Kino drank a full bottle.
Really?
And Rex and Violet a half a bottle apiece. So
wow,
we're making progress.
That's awesome.
Squirrel drank off the big jug, so I moved the cinder block.
He did drink though.
Yep.
Oh, thank God.
So Paige accidentally fed macadamia when she thought it was chestnuts. Now macadamia is a nut job.
Oh, great. Oh, great.
So he's trying to get in the office, but yeah. So I've moved the cinder block into the office. We probably can start using that bottle feeder system at some point soon.
Yes, probably. Yes. Okay, I love that idea.
Yeah.
That makes life so much easier.
I'll leave you keeping at the bow making and playing with wood.
Playing with my wood. That's right. That's right. That's right. Since the taper is the same across the board, I'm going to do the same concept here. I want to find the thickness where I want to be. These have to be lighter draw weights, so we're going to lower it down. I'm going to slide. I don't know if this makes sense, but this is thicker down here. This is thinner. I want to start at that thickness. So I'm going to slide this down until I match the thickness I'm looking for, which is about there. And from that point, I'll do what we did before. I'll make a line, but I'll carry that line through with the straight edge. Apparently, it's Bambi's birthday. Happy birthday, Bambi. To the ugliest goat on the farm. Right? The ugliest goat on the farm. I'm going to make one of these. And then use it as a template for the other two. This way, I know I'm not messing things up here. So that was a half. And here's about a quarter. I'm going to just go through the whole proper template on this. Really don't want to mess anything up. Double check. That looks parallel the whole way. I totally messed up on that sucker. I don't like the way this looks. I got too many lines, too many things. We're going to switch it to the other side. Got 3 marks. Still the back of the bow, but I'm now just working off this side because I didn't like the way that looked. I didn't like the way it looked. Again, this whole freehand business is for the professionals. You can't do this in real bow making. I mean, I guess you can. And I guess I'm doing real bow making. But if you're just getting into it, using the proper steps, all these shortcuts that I'm using is not probably the best decision. Not that I think anybody here is going to be doing bow making. I don't think that's going to be a thing. Although I'd be pretty impressed if somebody decided to hop out into their wood shop and make a bow. I'd be very impressed. Okay. That looks better. So much cleaner. Everything's so clean on that. Same thing over here. I already know what it is. I don't even know why I'm trying to check it. Again, these need to be lighter draw weights, like a 35-pound draw weight. Something that, you know, my wife could handle. Not the macho man who's going to come up and say, "Give me, this bow is too easy." And then they think they want to try to snap the bow. Oh, I'm just going to, it's a strength competition. I'll just pull the bow back as far as I can because I'm strong. That's happened. It was sisters. The sisters were Prue, Bambi, and Star. Prue, Bambi, and Star. So it's obviously Prue's birthday then as well. I don't think they knew that. All right, we're going to make one. Here's the issue, guys. I'm barely gonna make it through. This is like about a smaller blade because it cuts faster. But I may not even see it through the other side. Wish me luck. And it's gonna be a harder cut because I'm cutting through more hickory than I was before. It's going to be a very hard cut. I can't see the other side. I can't follow my line. It doesn't come through. Ugh, all because of that 1/16 of an inch that I did. That makes me mad. That makes me mad. I cannot see. The blade barely reaches the other side. I have no clue where I'm cutting. Mother monkey. Okay, so here's the solution. I need to put the fence back on the table saw. I need to cut a little bit off of this from the side. Yes, indeed. So in that case, all because of the smaller blade, we're just going to take a little shimmy shim off so I can see the blade. It's going to change the bow's weight just a little bit. Alright, that's done. Let's see if I can see the blade now. The one with the marks on it, of course. Look up. Alright. So close. It's like just under the surface of the blade is just under the surface. So if I watch the wood move, I'm on the right path. I have to look at the wood moving. I can't physically see the blade, which is a very difficult cut. But I'm going to continue it because I feel confident I can. That's literally a blind cut. Look, the blade never came through at all. At all. So let's see if I cut this, if I followed my line. That was the most difficult cut I've probably done because it's blind. You can't see. You're looking for a little shift in the wood. Ridiculous. It's going to be a little wonky. I already know it. All right. Well, let's just cut the excess off and see what happens. Hold on, I got a plunge cut in there. I'm gonna tell you something. This between my legs vibrating felt kind of good. Here's my blind cut. I was pretty good. I'm all right on the blind cut. It's okay. It's a little wonky. I have a couple of issues, but I think I can fine tune them. All right, blind cut on this side, number 2. No idea what I did. I think that's really a wonky one. Very wonky. I have a lot of cleanup to do on this bad boy. I'm all over the place with this one. It's thinner, it's thicker, it's... Ugh. I'm going to clean it up a little bit, then I'm going to use it as a template. All right, clean that up. Looks good. Use that as a template for the other two and go through the same issues, or hopefully maybe I'll take a little bit more off. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. Not quite sure what I'm going to do. Back of the bow looks good. This one looks skinny enough. Like, I'll definitely make this one. Alright, that's good. I hear the billy goats. Boo. You hear it? Funny. Alright. Mark my center. Here's my center. Line it all up. I don't think you guys can actually see what I'm doing. I don't think it really matters that you can see what I'm doing. Alright, 2 more to cut, then we can do the tip tapers. Yay! We're getting closer. Only been working for 1 hour and 23 minutes. That's actually really good. Making pretty good progress, I think. Got completely lost on that line. Completely lost. I felt blade wandering. I didn't know how to correct it. I don't even know where I ended up. If I ended up in the meat of the bones or what. We'll find out. Again, the blade never went all the way through on some of it. Yeah. Ooh, 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 ooh. Ooh. It is real pretty. That's real pretty. When you look down that, that's sarcasm, by the way. That's sarcasm. I butchered the crap out of this one. Thicker and thinner and all over the place. Correctable, but very amateur. Very amateur. The heck was that just fell off? Oh, I think that's like a guide plate for this. We should probably keep that on there. Doesn't help that it's friggin' hot. I don't know if you could hear me, but ooh, that was tickling. I already know that's going to be floor tiller. I'm just going to set it there while I cut the taper on the other one. Oh, good times in the shop. I had to use between my legs to hold it still, and it vibrates the crap out of me. Oh, my jeans might be wet. Oh my God, that's intense. That's intense. Hello. What you ladies doing?
Hi, dear.
What you ladies up to?
And I just got back from our camp.
How did that go?
We may or may not have stopped at Rita's on the way back.
Jerk.
As you can tell by my shirt.
Oh yeah.
So I noticed all this sawdust on you, and it gave me a memory.
Oh yeah?
Uh-huh.
What kind of memory?
Do you remember the memory I'm thinking of?
Were there prints in the sawdust?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. You are live.
I know.
Okay. You know, just saying. Just saying.
Tired? You should have a fan.
It's fine.
What was the memory?
How's it going?
I'm good. I've gotten 1, 2,
We were watching, but then
3,
Hannah said it was boring, so we
4,
turned it off.
5.
You're such a complete liar. She was the one who said it was boring and is now blaming it on me.
Did you say it was boring? I announced at the beginning this was going to be boring.
For those who are interested in bow making, I'm sure it's very
You
interesting.
see what my wife does? It's boring. I'm going to go watch somebody else.
Well, I enjoyed the part of the sawdust.
You know, you make me not want to finish right now.
I'm sorry.
Because I took a break. You know how when you stop?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh.
What do you got to do?
I've got to floor tiller these. I got to tip taper them.
That tells me nothing. Never mind.
What was the
I don't
memory?
know what any of that means.
What was the memory?
You can't know.
Why?
All right. Do you know, are we meeting Andy and Tanya there at 7? Do you know any of this?
No, but they said we can sit inside. I sent you the screenshot.
Yes. Okay, so I'll figure that out.
What time is it?
Going on 5.
Okay. All right. Ciao.
I let Millie.
Yeah, thank you.
He was wanting to go back. Do you know, are we meeting right there?
Okay, time for the tip taper. That's where the tip of the bow gets tapered down. And since I already have an example already tapered, I'll go ahead and utilize that one as my template. As you can see, I have it right here. This is the finished bow. Taper, taper, taper. Taper, taper, taper. Line up the tip. Make sure it's parallel. And give it a little mark on each side. That's what we want to follow right there. I'll do that on all 6 sides. 3 on one side, 3 on the other. And then the kitty bows, I'll have to make up a taper real quick. I'll make one and we'll trace it. Little secret sauce. If I miss my target draw weights, let's just hypothetically say these end up too light for whatever reason, I can just chop an inch off of the tip of each side, and that will increase my draw weight. So there's so many different things you can do to vary the draw weight. By make it shorter, draw weight goes up. Make it longer, which you can't really make it longer, but longer draw weight goes down. You lose a little bit on your draw length though. Alright, those tips are already cut. Let's make a template for junior bow, which is only 1 inch wide, so it's different. It's a different. So we'll make a 1. We make a 1 taper, 1 time. Essentially, same concept though. Centered, right there. I know that's center. Don't worry. Don't ask how I know. I just know. Either side of the bow will come over, a little bit, and we will taper it up probably about 8 inches. So right there. Straight edge it over, like so. I know that's blocking you and you can't see it, but there you go, tapered. And it's all about the angles. Tapered. Purdy. Same thing on this side, so I can use this bow as a template. We want to use it as a template. Human tape measure, I am. Human tape measure. Done. Cut. Let's cut. Y'all probably didn't even see that because I wasn't in range, I don't think. Sorry. I forgot. Alright, let's set all of these junior bows up on in a row for a taper template party. Taper template party. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm gonna have 8 bows here. I only needed 4, so I'm double making my bows apparently. Apparently that's what I'm doing. I guess I don't need to do anything except find center and trace. Trace, trace. I really probably could do this without marking it. I feel that confident in myself, but it's been so many years, I'm just going to do it right and mark it to avoid, because we start cutting corners, then I'll be making up for it during the finishing stages when I'm trying to get the limbs to bend evenly. So let's not do that. Story time. Not really a story time, but I used to go hunting with my buddy Jim. Now, it was not my dad, Jim. Let's call him my dad now that you guys know the story. And all the boys, all of our friends, the wolf pack, the coyote pack, we had a couple different packs over the years. And, well, we would always have a competition when we went out to the woods because everything's competition. I blame that on Jim. Competition is Jim's fault. And we would have to make a bow and arrow set from whatever materials that we found out in the woods. We had to cut the tree down. We'd have to cure the stave over the campfire, cut the arrow down. The only thing we could cheat on was using bailey twine for the string because we weren't using sinew or rawhide. And that was fun. That would be all the time. And then we'd shoot it and have fun with it. Hunting wasn't really about the hunting for us. It was about the camaraderie, the family time, the stories. It was fun. It's good times, good times. It's not Rocket. It's been a while since I've done them. All right, we're gonna cut the tip tapers. We'll put everything that has already been completed on this side. That has tip tapers. Everything that has not on this side. Perfect. All right, so now my plan would be to take a little seat. I have a little seat and read a couple comments and stretch my back. Oh, yeah, that's good. Who is making that noise? Oh boy, is there some... I will drink some water. Just not quite yet. It's a lot of walking to go. You realize this farm is huge. It's a lot of walking just to go get water. I will get some. I promise. Oh, it's okay. Good. You upset her? Well, what did we do to upset who? What happened? Do I care? Do I have to go back and read this? I like jokes. I like joking. This video will never go viral. Trixie, sorry. It's just a boring guy at a wood shop. I know the algorithm. I'm not... This is not that. I was making dirty jokes with your words, and she got upset about it. Well, I mean, I was the one saying that I was feeling good with the wood between my legs vibrating, and then Lauren came in and said that there was a memory with her with some marks in the sawdust, so it's all good. Oh boy. All right, before I move forward with the belt sander, and I'm probably going to stop after this next step. My plan after this, what I'm going to do now that I have the profile, I have the front profile, I have the side profile, everything's cut out. The next thing I want to do, I'm going to get water in a minute, is I'm going to go through and floor tiller them one more time. That's going to give me a really good judgment on draw weights and the bendability, like how even they are, and getting the limbs evened out. Because after that, I'm going to the belt sander, and the belt sander is going to smooth everything out. Once I go to the belt sander, there's no going back to the table saw. Not really, because the table saw is so aggressive, it's going to take off too much. So I'm going to get all the table saw work done now, right this second. We're going to do that next. So hang tight. As soon as I'm done with this step, I'm going to get water. I promise, guys. I promise you. This is going to be my floor tillering step. Floor tiller up next. Checking the bend of the bows. Some of them might not need any more table saw work. That doesn't need any more table saw work. That's good. That was good. That one does not need any more table saw work. This one does need table saw work out near the tip. 8 floor tillage staves, retail value $49.95 on my old website. That's right. I used to sell a floor tillage stave where I did all of that. I was able to sell people on the idea that they could make their own bow for very minimal work. Floor tillage staves. Draw weights would vary. Give them a ballpark. Very minimal finish work from this point on. Sanding, tillering, making your handle, calling it a day. What's so funny?
Oh, that was so funny. I wish I would have got them on video.
What happened?
So, the moms are getting dramatic because they're missing their babies.
Yeah.
Their babies like the middle. So periodically when I hear them screaming, I'll go grab their babies.
Yeah.
And I grabbed 2 of Dusty's kids because Lexington was already out here. And one of them tried to drink off a Twizzler.
OMG.
And Twizzler was standing right next to Dusty, but he went right for Twizzler. And
Oh my
Twizzler's
gosh.
like, what are you doing?
That's hilarious. Oh, very sweaty day, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Think you lost some weight today?
Water weight for sure. I started bringing an extra shirt,
Good idea.
even though I haven't switched to it yet today, or yesterday, but
I might jump in the pool to cool myself off. Yeah,
yeah, it's brutal.
it is. Ugh. I'm gonna drink some water from the hose though. That's what I'm gonna do.
Make sure you run it out of the hose first, because that stuff that's in there is going to be scalded.
How old do you think I am?
Just saying.
Do you think I'm 20 and I don't know what I'm doing?
Look, I'm just
I mean,
you got Pepsi to drink.
make some mud for the pigs. Make some mud for the pigs. Oh, it's cold. Oh, it's cold now. Oh, oh, oh. Whew. Oh yeah.
So I noticed a couple things.
Okay.
One, Banshee can slip under the fence into the Billy patio.
Banshee's going into the, okay.
So that's probably how she was in there that one time.
Got it. Yes. That makes sense.
Two, that big bale that I thought they loved,
Yeah.
and I didn't think they liked the new small bales. That's what they're going after, and the bottom half is the big.
So they prefer the small bales over the big bale.
I feel like, and I've seen a lot of waste out of the
With
yellows.
the, yeah. All right. So I'll tell the guy no more fine stringy stuff.
Unless it's super cheap, they're still wasting it.
Yeah,
Like it could double with the waste of extra bedding in the winter.
But not in the summer. All right. Oh, yeah. Well, I was making mud for the pigs.
Nice. Yeah, I did that earlier.
Wow. Really? Because it was all evaporated in
I did it yesterday. I saw Paige doing it today, but I don't know how much she put down.
Right.
But I put a ton down yesterday, and it all just soaked in there or evaporated. Because I was trying to get the pigs to stop using the water trough because I cleaned it, and like I saw one of them just soaking in it like a bath and turning it into a big mud bucket.
Yep. All right. Well, my live's over. I've been live for 2 hours. I did not think I was live for that long. It went by quick. 2 hours.
Time flies when you're playing with your wood.
I got to the point what I call a floor tillered stave, which I could sell. I could probably sell it in the open market right now for 49 bucks a pop. And I got 8 of them. So
Okay.
8 times 5 is what?
400.
So 400 bucks
Yeah.
in 2 hours. Still not as good as goat snuggling though. Less goat snuggling's, well, I don't know. See, that's the thing. You don't count all your time. There's the trade-off.
Yeah.
The trade-off is the goats you have to spend time with every day. I only got to spend a little bit of time with my wood. So maybe it is more profitable for the bow making. I don't know if I can handle the repetition. I got out of the business because of how you have to show Tansy's beard.
Oh, I was just thinking.
You just have to show it to him. No, my battery's almost dead and you can barely see out of my phone. But
So Tansy looks like she had a bad hair dye, or
definitely looks like hair dye.
it looks like she was like trying to go from, I don't know what that is, like blonde to a different color, or like,
Yeah, I hear some of those guys can make your hair turn green.
it looks like she like went to the, like I've seen people dye their hair with like Hawaiian punch packets.
Oh, yeah.
No idea why it's green, but it's green.
She was up in the in the middle section this whole time.
Yeah.
So it couldn't be pasture grass.
Greenish blue.
You know it's not pasture grass. I was thinking it.
Kind of mineral thing.
I'm thinking the minerals.
Like too much copper, not enough of something.
Chlorine. There was no chlorine in the
Yeah,
middle.
that's what it looks like. It looks like a blonde went into a chlorine pool.
Yeah.
Girl, you can be the most annoying animal on the farm.
Agreed. Agreed. All right, logging off, guys. Thanks for watching. See you. Ciao.